We've got 9 games on Friday, so let's take a look at them. Let's look at all the action, the streaming, the injuries, who's in, who's out, how we approach it. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I'm from the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. Where's my crown? That's my bling. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season, the playoffs are almost here, the regular season's almost done, but you can still get in on the action and get $250 if you win your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com and find out where you can get the best information. We have to find out, I'm telling you. LockedOnDaily.com, best info on your team. Sign up right now. Also, if you are here, a double bang will be good. A check out of our live trade deadline show. The landing page of that is posted, so go and pre-like that one so you know that it exists and it tells other people that it exists, and we want to hit big numbers on the pre-likes over on that show. Okay, we're here to talk about the action on Friday, January the 3rd. It is J.R.R. Tolkien Day. So for all of you absolute nerds that like Lord of the Rings, I apologize for your lives. But it is J.R.R. Tolkien Day, so how are you going to celebrate? I don't know. Probably by doing something nerdy. And of course, I'm a gigantic nerd as well. I could never get into Tolkien or Lord of the Rings. It's not for me. Other nerdy things, like spending all day playing inside spreadsheets, yeah, I'm all about it. That one, maybe not as much. Let's take a look. There are 9 games on Friday. What are we paying attention to here? Well, the first game is an interesting one. It's Hornets and Pistons. And you might say, why is that interesting? Because they're terrible. Well, they're not. Like, the Pistons are better than terrible, but of course there's a big injury that we talk about. Let's look at the schedule first. Both the Hornets and the Pistons have 2 more games. Friday, Sunday, Charlotte into 4 games in week 12. Detroit is Friday, Saturday into 4 games in week 12. Trey Mann is out. When I create these, of course, everything is ever evolving, as I say all the time in the NBA and with injury reports. So I create these graphics, we get ready to do the show, and then things alter, right? So I thought that LaMelo and Cody Martin and Brandon Miller would be available to play. They're not out. They're listed questionable, which last time they were listed doubtful. So I put them as probable, but they are questionable. I still believe that is as close to probable as you'll get without them listing probable. They also added Daquan Jeffries onto that injury report with an adductor problem as questionable too. The big one, of course, though, is the Pistons. Jaden Ivey, broken leg. Until they tell me something different, I just guess that he's out for the season, so he won't appear on these injury reports anymore. He's done for the year, Jaden Ivey. Simone Fontecchio missed the last game due to personal reasons, but he is out of this one as well, so I thought maybe he'd be available, but he's out again, so that's 2 rotation pieces that are out. On the Hornets side of things, well, I'm assuming that LaMelo Ball plays, so that's really what I wanted to see. Like, if he's available, and I know people are panicking about Ball, who came out as the top vote getter in the Eastern Conference All-Star votes that have been released so far. So just watching to see that he's there. And then on the Pistons side, it's pretty obvious. It's Asar Thompson. What are we getting out of Asar? I honestly have no idea what direction they go. There's Hardaway, there's Beasley, there's Thompson. I don't think it'll be Sasa. I guess at a stretch you could say it's Ron Holland who jumps into that mix, but I do think it's going to be Asar. And irrespective, you are looking at 40 to 50 minutes of play that needs to be replaced with Ivey and Fontecchio both out. So they're going to get bumps. So we want to see how Asar looks, and I don't know that he's going to be a guy that we have to hold all season, but I do know that he's someone you want to take a chance on. In terms of stream guys, probably Josh Green, of course. If old mate LaMelo is out, it's Vas Midzic in that spot. And then Leaky Beasley, still available in 40 or 60% plus of leagues. He's another guy that you add with Ivey out. And I probably would add Beasley over Asar, although Asar has a way bigger upside because he can pass, he can rebound, he can get steals, he can get blocks, whereas Beasley is doing what he's doing right now. He might play extra minutes, but there's not much more to his game than that. The second game, we're talking Magic. And the Raptors in Toronto. Schedule-wise, Orlando's a Friday, Sunday, and they play 4 games in week 12. The Raptors, this is their final game for the week, and then they play 4 games the week after. So Paolo is out. with the, I said that really weird because they put like the marginal accent on Paolo. So I'm not going to say Paolo. Paolo. So I said it, and then I said out. Paolo's out. Paolo Banchero is out. Franz Wagner is out. Gary Harris popped up as being out as well. Mr. Black is questionable with his back injury, and Yasqueen Trevelyan Queen dealing with his, whatever it is that he's dealing with, he's probable. On the Raptors side of things, Rowan Barrett is questionable. He's missed 2 straight with an illness, and Brucey Brown missed last game due to rest. He'll be available. So the Raptors are almost at full strength. Like if Barrett plays, they're literally at full strength. And that'll be very interesting to see. On the Magic, it was not a good game for old mate Tristan Da Silva, who has had some big ones, giggity, and 2 bad ones sandwiched around his last good one. So what is the role? Are we going to get 30 minutes, or is he going to push down to 20, or is it just entirely dependent in the Mike Brown school of coaching of like if you hit your first couple of shots, you get to play more? That's possible too. Emmanuel Quickley, unbelievable return to action. 32 minutes was allegedly his limit. Well, not allegedly, they told us after the fact, hey, that was his limit. So what the hell is he going to do? Full time? 36? Maybe. That's pretty exciting. So we want to see how fast they push him up. In terms of streams, KCP was really good last game. I don't fully trust it, but yeah, he's obviously streamable. And then Bruce Brown on the Raptors. I don't feel really good about that one, but I think Brown is going to get his 20 minutes, and that means like guys like Shed and Walter and Mitchell probably get 0 minutes, to be honest. Even Abachi's terrible. Like Brown is probably the guy that I take a look at in that position. Third game, Knicks Thunder. The Thunder are coming into this one on a back-to-back. They're playing on Thursday as well. The schedule is Friday, Saturday for New York into 4 games week 12. The Thunder are Friday, Sunday into 3 games in week 12. Like I said, this is a back-to-back for the Thunder. We don't have the updates on the Knicks just yet. I know Mitchell Robinson is going to be out. I don't expect that Juice McBride, who left with hamstring tightness, will be available. We know that tightness is the buzzword in the NBA, and often 2-3 days later it turns into strain. I think if we get any doubtful tag on McBride, which is how I think it is, it's not tightness, it's a hamstring strain. So watch that. Jalen Brunson had a questionable tag, played 40 minutes, questionable tag, played 40 minutes, and then sat the next game. Where are we at with him here? I do believe Brunson plays, but it is a Friday, Saturday back-to-back. So maybe he sits the second one here. And then Chet is going to be out, and then Alex Caruso's out on out on Thursday. Not sure if he plays Friday. I would lean probably towards no, but I don't know. Josh Hart is someone we need to watch. He's cooking at the moment. Consecutive triple-doubles, playing 45 minutes a night, which is clearly insane. It's clearly ridiculous. He is also shooting like 14 percentage points better than he did all of last season, which again is an insanely good number. So we're just keeping watch. Like, will he play those minutes? Does his body survive? Because this man has had multiple injuries in the past. Yeah, broken hands, significant ankle problems. I think he had a knee problem at one point. We do have to worry a little bit. And then it's the shooting, which is just maintaining really high levels. Although it has dropped a little bit. In terms of streams, I'm going to put Campaign there because I think Brunson might not play and McBride might not play, which means Payne will be an option. And then Cason Wallace is the Thunder guy. 30 minutes for him is definitely streamable. And we're seeing some pretty good stuff out of him most nights. Wizards Pals is this next game up in terms of the schedule. It's Friday, Sunday for both teams, and both teams play 4 games in week 12. Marvin Bagley's out, and we got the update on Bilal Coulibaly. He is out. I didn't think he would be out. He left the last game with an illness, clutching his midsection. So he's out again, which opens up stuff, obviously. Zion is out. It seems Zion might be returning soon, but I don't know. He's doing practice. He looks all right. Maybe he's back. I don't know. Brandon Ingram's out. Cullen Makovich is out. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl missed the last game. He's questionable. And Jose Alvarado looks like he'll be ready to return. He is probable for this game. I want to watch on the Wizards side again, not because I respect myself, because I don't, but I want to watch Kyle Kuzma because last game he took 5 shots. He started the second half with Bilal out. Do they go back to that again? I think they probably will. And do we actually see him play 30 minutes like the leader of the team and someone who's a Hall of Fame worthy player that he believes that he is? Or is he going to float around and play 23 minutes a night and do nothing? Don't know. Also want to watch DeJounte Murray because he's also been bad in terms of shooting. He can't shoot. And I don't really know where that's all gone. Realistically, I just want to see a string of good games from him. In terms of stream guys, I am going to go with Passion Pop Justin Champagny because somebody is out. And that's Bill out. Now, normally, I'm going to need 2 guys out, at least one of those with a bit of usage. And that's not the case because Brogdon, Poole, Kuzma are all playing. But I think Champagny will start, and that should push his minutes high enough to be at least streamable here. And then on the Pelicans, it's pretty light on. You could look at BJ Boston. You could look at Jordy Hawkins. I'm going to look at Jose Alvarado because assists can be so hard to get. And he's a point guard, so he gets them, and that's useful. We've got more games to talk about. And don't worry, I will talk about them. But today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the NFL playoffs. We are almost there. But the regular season is still going as well, of course. One more week. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, will have you covered for it. New customers to FanDuel can get ready to start the season strong, or they can just finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. W's are easy to come by because there's so many different ways to do it. Will a player score a touchdown? How many points will a team score? How many points will be scored in the game? The standard spreads, the money lines, the futures, the props. It's all there over on FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com today, join up, and you can get your chance to win $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, we're in the middle of looking through games for Friday. Fifth game up, it's the Celtics and the Rockets. This is a back-to-back for Boston. We knew 6-7 days ago that this was the beginning of a 5-game, 7-night stretch for Boston. Pretty busy. Well, maybe, I don't know if it was 5 and 7. It was a busy stretch anyway. So we knew there'd be some sort of absences creeping in, and we are seeing it now. They play Friday, Sunday still this week with 3 games in Week 12, and Houston's a Friday, Sunday to 3 games in Week 12. Al Horford is playing on Thursday, so I'm just going to say he won't play on Friday. Kristaps Porzingis is out on Thursday, so he's got to be questionable for Friday. Jaylen Brown is out on Thursday, so I'll say he's questionable for Friday. Drew Holiday is in on Thursday, but it's a back-to-back, so I'll say he's questionable for Friday. I didn't put Derek White or Jason Tatum on here, but I think we've got to have a look at those guys. Same with Slim and Sammy Hauser, who's dealing with a back injury. This is the final game of Amen Thompson's suspension for Houston, and then Tari, maybe next season, is questionable, I guess, for his 8th consecutive game. He's missed 7 in a row with lower left leg injury management, a management lasting 3 weeks now. Yeah, put him questionable, but yeah, I'm not that confident on that. On the Rockets, Jabari Smith, we thought maybe he'd turned it around and look at the numbers and he's playing much better, and no, he's not at the moment. He's well down. So I just sort of want to get a gauge of it. Has Udoka soured on him again? Is he back to playing 27 minutes and doing nothing? Or will he go back to that 36-minute role? Udoka's moving and mixing and matching and all that sort of stuff, and it's a downturn for Jabari. In terms of stream, guys, I put Luke Cornett there, and later in the show I'll put Nemesh Cater there just because I think they're relatively interchangeable, because Sneaky Joe Mazzulla, well, it's in the name. He'll just sneak different guys in different spots. And then Dylan Brooks, at this point, and I don't like to say it, I just think you roster him. He's playing so well. He won't long term. We know this. It'll cool off absolutely. But he's playing so well at the moment, Brooksy. I think you just roster him. Even though he's 78% available or something. I think you just do it. I know that sounds so disgusting. One of the best matchups we always get, Cavs Mavs, because the names rhyme. That's it. It would have been a much better matchup if Luka was playing in real life. Cleveland's Friday, Sunday, 3 games Week 12. This is Dallas's final game of the week, into 4 the next week after that. Isaac Okoro is going to be out. Slam and Sammy Merrill didn't practice. I think he's probably closer to doubtful for the Cavs. Luka's out. Exum's out. This is the final game of Najee Marshall's suspension as well. And I don't believe at this point we've got an update on old Peach. PJ Washington left the last game with a knee sprain, they called it. Very, very rare that you'd leave a game from a knee sprain and not return. Or do they call it a strain? They might have. I don't know. What do they actually call it? No, they called it a sprain. So, yeah, I'm pretty doubtful that PJ is going to be available. In terms of what I'm watching for on the Cavs, it's really that melange of guards. It's Karis LeVert, or guards and wings, maybe. Wings. Karis LeVert, Dean Wade, Max Strus, Sam Merrill, Milk Jerome. Who's going to play and how do the minutes shake out? And on the Mavs, Derek Lively cooked in the last game, 20 minutes, but great numbers. While Gafford barely played. Is that what we're going to do? Is Gafford still... If he's under 20, Dan, we don't have to roster him. In terms of streams, I will look to the Winter Soldier Max Strus, who was awesome in the last game. I don't think that Max Strus is a 12-team must roster, but 2 more games in 3 days this week. You could consider it. And then I still believe Spencer Dinwiddie is the guy. He sucked last game, absolutely. Quentin Grimes was way better. I still think that Dinwiddie is the guy with Doncic out. It's going to be up and down because, let's be fair, it's Spencer Dinwiddie and he's not very good. So other players, he's going to not be consistent because that is what usually separates players. Can you consistently be good, or do you have the occasional big one in you? giggity. Dinwiddie is still my option over Grimes. It is not going to work every day, though. It's not going to work every day. The next game is the Spurs. They're going to Denver to take on the Nuggets. This is really interesting because the Nuggets are actually playing unbelievably well, and the Spurs are obviously still really good. Real test here for both teams, I think. Both of them have a Friday, Saturday back-to-back, and the Spurs play 3 in Week 12, and the Nuggets play 4. So who's out? Well, I had listed Jeremy Sohan as questionable, but he has been ruled out with bilateral back tightness. So I guess it's a good thing that they're not calling it a specific injury or a strain, tightness or a bruise or a contusion, just tightness. So hopefully it's just the one game here for Sohan, and because it's the first of a back-to-back, he just plays on Saturday. That's my hope. Aaron Gordon, I'm guessing, is going to be out for both of these for the Nuggets, and Vlatko Čančar will be out as well. Steph Castle started the last game, or the second half, with Sohan out. Could he do it again? Or do they go back to Julian Champagny? That's what we want to watch. I, again, firmly believe that you do not roster Steph Castle in 12 or 14 team leagues. He has not shown an ability to be a 12 or 14 team league player, and this is not a long-term scenario, I don't think. But things always evolve and change and adjust, so I want to see it. On the Nuggets, Russell Westbrook is playing unbelievably well. He has missed one shot from the field and the line combined in the last 2 games, which is, a miracle if you've got Russell Westbrook. So I guess I'm a little worried you're going to get a 27% night with 4 of 8 from the line. That's a little concerning. But at the moment, they're playing so well with him in that lineup, which makes me very concerned for what happens to Christian Brown later on. In terms of stream, guys, it is an extra opportunity for the horse Keldon Johnson because Sohan is out, and for Julian Champagny in that spot, while Peyton Watson is probably your streamer. Obviously more value for him in categories than there are in points leagues. Grizzlies and the Kings. This is the largest injury report game that we've got, and I don't believe there's any extra updates on this, which would be actually great to get that because there's a lot to look at. Friday, Saturday for Memphis into 3 games Week 12. The Kings are Friday, Sunday into 3 games Week 12. What I know is that Ja Morant is out, Vince Williams is out, Gigi Jackson's out, Marcus Smart is out, and Santi Aldama is out. I expect that Brandon Clark is out with a soleus strain. And then the 2 that I don't know, which actually have an impact, Zach Edey and Jake LaRavia. Edey with a concussion, it's literally impossible to know. I think there's a chance that he plays here. LaRavia with an ankle, I'm probably a little bit more doubtful on it, but I don't really know. And then just to watch this one, I don't know how accurate it's going to be, but Jaren Jackson sprained his ankle at the very end of the last Grizzlies game. Now, he played through it. He seemed okay. So I've just put him with a probable tag there. So we just watch that one. As for the Kings, Keegan Murray missed the last game with what they were deeming ankle soreness, so not a specific injury as such, so I'll put him as questionable here. On the Grizzlies side of things, Lil Jon Conchar has been starting. He's not going to score much, but he's going to do everything else. But the worry I guess I have here is if LaRavia and Edey play, Edey would start, Jackson moves back to the 4, that would mean Conchar likely moves to the bench, and his impact can be deadened somewhat. I still like him as a stream guy, but when Edey is back, and to a lesser extent LaRavia, it does reduce Conchar's production. For the Kings, DeMar DeRozan continues to really, really struggle. Is it his back? Is it more? What's his usage? What's his shooting? We're just continually watching what DeRozan is doing because it's not very good. In terms of stream, guys, I am still looking at Pippen over Kennard, but the Duck was really good last game. Kennard thrived in that role. We have seen him struggle in that role before. We've also seen Pippen thrive and struggle in this same role too. So it's hard to make a definitive call. I am still looking at Pippen over Kennard, but that could easily flip if Pippen, again, is just reduced to a 20-minute role 2 in a row. Keon Ellis, also, it's really important here. Yes, we are streaming Keon Ellis, right? But it can be, I know he was really good. I know he put up great defensive numbers. I know the plus-minus has been, and the net rating stuff is all in his favor all season. I know this. But the fact that he played 38 minutes last game, you can easily run to the conclusion and go, well, Doug Christie, he figured it out. Mike Brown was too dumb. He had no idea. He couldn't figure it out. But Doug Christie, immediately, he kept his mouth shut the whole time as an assistant coach. Didn't say a single thing to Mike Brown. It's very easy to say Doug Christie's figured it out, and now we're going to get big minutes from Ellis. Or it's just because Murray was out. It was a bold move to start DeRozan at the 4. True, the opponent also probably not up to scratch. Does this mean that Ellis is now a full-time starter? The question would be, over who? Who? Monk? DeRozan? Murray? The answer is probably none of them. Maybe they move Monk back to the bench, but I don't know about that. And then if they play, what happens? You just don't play Herter at all? That is a huge thing. So while I think Ellis is going to do a little bit more, There's very, very far from a guarantee that he's a 30-minute a night player now. Very far. And we need to watch it, obviously. The final game of the day. There are 9 games on, and that is the Hawks, the Lakers. Lakers are on a back-to-back heading into this one. Both teams have 2 more games this week. Friday, Saturday, Atlanta into 3 in week 12, and the Lakers are Friday, Sunday into 3 in week 12. Larry Nance is going to be out, and again, we'll just do a quick update to see if there's anything on these guys. Nope, Jalen Johnson missed the last game. I think he's a chance to return. Bogdanovic, I just don't know. They're calling it like a leg contusion. He's missed like 5 consecutive games now, Bogdan. So I'll put him questionable, but yeah, I'm losing some faith there. Christian Wooden, or not losing some faith, I don't think we need to roster Bogdan. Wooden, Vanderbilt are out. I don't think Hood Shafino is going to play, and it doesn't matter. The question's going to be on Gabe Vincent and Anthony Davis. Both guys are doubtful on Thursday. Is that just because it's the first game of a back-to-back? Yeah, Vincent's dealing with an oblique strain, which can cost you weeks. Of course, they won't rule him out for weeks or whatever. But I would think that Davis is probably just sitting first game back-to-back and should be available Friday. What's on my radar for the Hawks? Well, I just need to watch Clint Capella because I actually don't think he's a must-roster player at the moment. The minutes are down. Okongwu's not really benefiting massively, but Capella's not doing enough. And it's really hard to justify that. In terms of stream, guys, Rissa Shea is probably the streamer, and that bumps if either or both Johnson and Bogdanovic are out. And then Max Christie is your Lakers stream target there as well. We'll come back with schedule stuff with more streaming or streams of the day type scenarios. Before I do that, though, today's episode is brought to you by the Game Time app and Game Time in general. Live events, we love them. We all want to do it. We all want to go there. We want to see our favorite team, our favorite artist, our favorite comedian, our favorite whatever. We want to go see a massed... No, we don't want to see that, actually, because I don't know why I said it that way. I was going to say you want to see a large debate, but I was going to call it a mass one, but that's really not what I meant. We can go to see all these things with live tickets from Game Time. And Game Time Picks is their new feature to filter out the fluff, showing only the incredible deals of whatever you go to see. You don't have to waste your time. In fact, you just go in there, Game Time Picks shows you the good ones, you choose it, it shows you the view from your seat, no hidden fees, it's all in there, the all-in pricing, so when you get to checkout, you're not surprised. How much better of experience could you ask for? So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create the account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA. For $20 off your first purchase, terms apply. Again, create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, that will bring us to talk about schedule stream stuff. Scheduling advantages, disadvantages. So how's it playing out? Well, there are a number of teams here that have got this Friday, Saturday back-to-back. In fact, there are 6 of them. So 6 teams have the back-to-back. Atlanta, Denver, Detroit, Memphis, the Knicks, and the Spurs. We've got to be concerned a little bit about the back-to-back in terms of someone sitting maybe in Memphis, but probably not. Watch Jaren and his ankle. Knicks, probably not. Spurs, maybe Wemby, but probably not. But overall, these teams have all been pretty back-to-back proof so far. So if you're looking to someone Friday, Saturday, these are the 6 teams that you want to be paying attention to. If you want to stretch that out a little bit and get a little bit chunky over the next 5 days, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all these players are interesting options who are 60% plus available who play 3 games in 5 nights. So it's Scott Pippen, and obviously by extension all Grizzlies, Malcolm Brogdon, Malik Beasley, Jaden McDaniels, Jordy Clarkson, and Keon Ellis. So you got Memphis, Washington, Detroit, Minnesota, Utah, and Sacramento. 3 games, 5 nights. And a lot of those guys, Beasley, McDaniels, Pippen, Clarkson, they can be a little bit up and down. So again, you are extending out a stream, 3 games, 5 nights, and hopefully those averages across that time work in your favor. That would be the hope. But what about if we extend out even further? What happens over the next week? We're a non-calendrical society here on the Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast. We're not a society, we're a group, we're a community. We don't believe in the restrictions of calendars, and you tell me when a week starts and doesn't. So let's look at the next 7 days, and let's take a look at who's got the advantage that, again, can get hidden. Detroit, 5 games between Friday and Thursday. It is a 5-game in 7-night stretch for the Pistons. So if you're thinking, what do I do? Do I add a SAR? Do I take a plunge on Beasley? Well, yes. Like, this is the time, right? You're going to have a bulk amount of games. They've got the advantage over every other team. So you're getting more games in. And that, can be a deciding factor. If we want to look, and we do want to look, at some streams of the day, we're going to do it right now. So who is our 10-team stream of the day option? Well, given the fact that Bilal is out, I'm going to go to Justin Champagny there. And still can be iffy about it because Kuzma can ruin anything. That is what he does. But Justin Champagny. 12-team, I'll go to Keon Ellis. 14-team, I'm going to go to Lil John Conchar. 16-team plus, Isaiah Stewart's available in a lot of spots. And while he's not fantastic, there's something there. And then for points leagues, both Yahoo and ESPN, I think Scottie Pippen looks pretty good. Let's dive in a little bit more to the details on it. For the shallow formats, like I said, we've got Justin Champagny at the top, Keon Ellis, and Julian Champagny. Both Champagnys get a bit of a bump because players are out. Cason Wallace is there. Wendell Carter is there. Wallace would also jump up if Caruso's ruled out. Wendell Carter's there, and Asar Thompson is in the mix as well. For 12-teamers, we're going with Conchar, Isaiah Stewart, Nemeash Cater / Luke Cornett, Bub Carrington, Peyton Watson, and Jalen Wells. And for deeper formats, these are all available in 80% of leagues according to Basketball Monster. Corey Kispert, Max Strus, Keyshawn George, Maxi Kleber, Johnny Isaac, and Julian Strowther. Last two, we look at Yahoo points streaming options. Pippen, Dinwiddie, Brogdon, Beasley, Justin Champagny, and Quentin Grimes. And so on the ESPN side, I've been having some horrendous tech issues here. So apologies if some of the cuts have seemed a little bit weird. I'm just trying to get this show done, man. It just keeps crashing on me, so apologies. The ESPN names: Scott Pippen, Dinwiddie, Beasley, Justin Champagny, Malcolm Brogdon, and Julian Champagny. And that finally gets me to the end of the Daily Look Ahead show for Friday, January the 3rd. In the meantime, while I try and figure out what is going on with this stuff, thumb it up, comment, and you know what we're doing. We're in 2025. It's the year of positivity. We're being kind to ourselves. We're being kind to others. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.